the boundaries between data, technology, creativity, AI are actually blurring. So the expectations of employers are changing. It's important that we skill ourselves. It's important to understand how creativity will play a role in all these industries as we move forward. And I'm going to be discussing this in detail with two fantastic speakers from the industry. Let me start with Sanju. Sanju S is the founder and CEO of This UX. He's worked in the industry for several years. He's also been part of the Google developer group from its inception, specifically focusing on Android development. So Sanju has worked in the industry. He's been part of the Google developer group in Chennai from its inception. I think one of his areas of expertise is Android development. And currently he runs a company called This UX. Now, interestingly, This UX does work for clients, but also has its own solutions. So when we were talking earlier, Sanju was talking to us about some of the products that he's working on. Maybe in the course, we'll ask him to talk a little bit about that. And we're also joined by Mr. Kartik Sankar. Kartik has a little over 2 decades of experience in the industry. He's a design leader, you could say. He's led digital transformation, really advised companies and mentored companies on how to push forward with, their digital strategy, their product and design strategy. He's currently the founder of Kick-Ass Design. He leads a motley crew of creative professionals, and they're working with different kinds of clients, small as well as large. And I think he's worked in different industries, so there's a lot of experience he brings to the table. And more recently, Kartik acted on an idea that he had on his head and started Far From Common, which is a really funky t-shirt brand, t-shirts, hoodies, and stuff like that. And they've been really coming out with some really cool designs. So if you haven't checked out Far From Common, perhaps you can do that. So let me start by saying thank you for making time for coming here and being part of this panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit. Great seeing all of you here. My pleasure to be here to share whatever insights I could share with you from my experience. So,
good afternoon, guys. It's nice to hear. Thanks for having me here, Amit. So, if you have any questions, maybe just feel free to ask me during QA session. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to kickstart this with a really fundamental question. How do you approach a design task or a challenge?
the younger one.
Okay, this is really interesting question. So, a lot of people used to ask me this question, especially. So, whenever a client comes to us, like whether it's a design task or new project, we always tackle it with who's their competitors, because you can spend days and months of times working on a research part and doing all the stuffs. But if you can spend 1 or 2 weeks on, studying your competitor, what they have done and what they are famous for and what they are doing good and what they are lacking, and you can just understand their customers' pain point, gain point from all the reviews and platforms which is available there in the marketplace. So you can just go through all those things, and we will just write a complete report on that. Based on that, we will find out potential opportunities to explore and add our own flavors. It will help us to save much more time. So this is the usual design process which we used to tackle. You don't always need to reinvent a wheel from a scratch. Instead, you can just smartly utilize the existing competitors to analyze what they are doing, and you can even make it much better. So this is my approach. So I'm currently doing.
Fantastic. Yeah. So we have a similar approach, but of course, nature of work is slightly different. He's more into the tech side of it. I'm more into the creative, the design side of it. But overall approach, you can say is more of a common sense approach. But I start from the end user's point of view. I bring the empathy factor into the design thing. I see first who's the end user, who's the consumer, who's going to be using that product. When I say product, it could be a physical product, it could be a digital virtual app or whatever it is. But someone somewhere is using that to achieve something, to it makes their life easy doing whatever it is. So our approach is always to start from the consumer first. In that process, what from our experience, what we have also realized is sometimes clients come to us with a requirement, but we realize that sometimes there might be a slight misalignment in what they are expecting and what probably the end user really needs. So if we come from the consumer side of it, the customer's point of view, sometimes we identify these kind of issues very early on in the process, and that helps us to also go back and discuss and probably refine, so that the customer is also very clear about the expectations and what is realistic in that sense. So and then of course, once we are clear about that, then we look at the scope, and then it is about ideating the whole thing. Then once we ideate, then we probably look at the best 2-3 possible options. Then probably we could do some prototyping or testing and stuff like that. Then we refine it, and then we kind of implement it. Once we implement, then based on the adoption, the feedback and stuff, we go back and iterate if required. So that's the process we adopt.
Some really good responses. And interesting, you're talking about empathy. Just a few days back, we were in Bangalore doing the same event, and we had Mr. Balaji Pattabhi Raman from Google as one of our guests. And he was also talking about how, in the context of creativity, you need to build for empathy, which means when you're designing your product, when you're designing your solutions, you need to have that element of empathy. Think about the end user, how he or she is going to use the product or service, and then approach the design. All right. The next question is, I think, which is on a lot of young minds. I think a lot of students are interested in art and design. Interest in the field of art and design is rising, and therefore, of course, more students are opting for it. But there are a lot of people who are unsure if there is, good scope. Is it a lucrative career to pursue? I mean, if you look at Chennai as a place, you have so many students who are more inclined towards STEM because they think that's a more lucrative thing to pursue. So sometimes, whether it's teachers, sometimes it's parents, or sometimes students themselves, they're wondering if creative careers are lucrative. So what's your take on that?
See, career, for that matter, any career is good. It all depends how you make yourself to be part of that career, how you your drive towards it, and what you prepare to move forward, to excel, to adapt and learn and succeed in any career of choice. So that holds good for any career. But yeah, I mean, it is as lucrative as it gets. I mean, just like any other career, there's a lot of scope, and the advantage here is, when you say design, it's a very broad area. So you have fashion design, you have interior design, you have graphics design, you have UX design, you have product design, all kinds of things. So it all, it's a large umbrella. So the industry is very big. So opportunities are also quite large. So there's quite a bit of opportunity out there. Yeah.
Honestly, it's fascinating to see a lot of newbies, young audience joining this session here. Like more people are interested in designs. So most of my friends, since I started my career in design way back in my college days, I was very young during that time. So I used to focus a lot on design and development parallelly. As a person who is in this industry, who is doing both design and engineering, I can attest that this industry is having it's fulfilling and rewardful. This industry, according to Kartik, like this industry is very big. Like it's not only about UI UX design, graphic design, product design, and fashion design and everything. So it's very broad. So all you have to do is just focus on more on exploring all the fields, and it's on you to pick which industry works for you. So So basically, let's say if I'm interested in mobile app development, then I can align with the path with UI UX design as my career. I can just add that, pick that skill. If you are more into like cinematography or other stuff, so you can try learning graphic design or marketing. It will be very helpful for marketing, other stuff, poster designs and everything like that. So if you are in fashion, obviously, so you have to try everything and you need to pick the one which works for you. So I was a developer who turned into a designer. So yeah, obviously I used to develop apps that doesn't, it looks like a shit, okay, to be honest. So I just wanted to make my application better. So that's how I accidentally fell into this design industry. So I started learning designs parallelly, and I know this is the right path which I have to take. And after that, my focus fully went into the design. And fast forward like 4 years, I've been running my own design studio in Chennai. So this is the story. Like it's on you to pick up the right thing that you enjoy more. So in order to pick the right thing, you have to try everything. So you just tried only UI UX design, and if you just give up on this thing, then it doesn't make sense, right? You have to try everything, and basic things, and you have to go deep in that, join some community. Once it is done, which is full satisfying to work with, so that you will pick that industry. So I choose this UI UX as my industry because it aligns with my engineering passion. So this is how it works.
Wow. I think both our speakers gave some really good responses. And, I just like to also add that it's super important to follow your passion. If you go by what you see others doing or what you may find your parents telling you, you may end up in a job, in a career which you don't enjoy. And that's not going to make you happy at the end of the day. If you focus and specialize, right, it's interesting, when you start your career, you should try a little bit of everything. As you progress in your career, you go deeper into one particular area. It's really important to do that. And as you get better at what you do, you will be compensated well. So the answer is, it is lucrative, but it also boils down to how you pursue it, how serious you are, how well you've mastered your art. All right. Okay. Related to this question, how would a student know if they're a good fit for the art and design industry, versus say engineering? So are there any cues that you can give students whether they're a good fit for art and design?
It's I would say it's easy for people who already know that it depends again on students. Some students start very early. They know exactly what strengths they have and what they want to become, and what they have a flair for something. I mean, they have a flair for, let's say, fashion. They have a flair for drawings. They have a flair for tinkering with things and creating some stuff, or disassembling stuff and then seeing what is there inside, and they are makers kind of thing. So for some it comes early. They know roughly what direction they want to pursue. Some are a bit confused, let's say towards the 10th grade or 12th grade, around that time. I would say best is listen to yourself, because that's the stage where you will actually be bombarded by all kinds of advice and noise around you. There'll be friends talking about, hey, this one is good, there is a lot of scope here, hey, that one is this thing. So all kinds of things. Parents will say something, teachers will say something, you will read something on the internet, all kinds of confusion will be there. But always go with your gut feel. That is one insight I can give you. It holds good today after 25 years in working. I go with my gut. So if I think this is interesting, the next thing I ask myself, do I have the aptitude towards that? I may not have, but is that something that I can learn, I can explore? If yes, I would definitely try that. So you have time. So just explore a bit of everything, and in that process you will get clarity as to this is not for me, this is probably, these are the two things which I can probably explore, and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Yeah, so I completely agree with what Karthik said. Like, I personally feel you can just pick any industry, and if you can put 10 hours a day and work for next 3 months, you can be a better person compared to what first year no person who's working in an industry for a year. So I'm just talking about this reality. So let's say if you are a good fit for a creative industry, so creative industry is broad, very much broad. So I will just give you one example. So if you're a person who use mobile apps, I'm into UI UX and product design, so I can talk about only this stuff. Okay, so if you're a person who used to use mobile apps like GPay, Ola, Uber, or whatever app it is, okay, if you face any problem, okay, and you started complaining about this could have been much better. So if you started to give feedback on those problem itself, then you are a, you are supposed to be a good logical thinker. Like, okay, so you are a problem. Design is all about solving a problem, and sometimes design itself will solve one problem, it will create another problem. Okay, so that's the fact. So next time when you're using mobile apps, if you are exploring UI UX design industry, next time when you're using any websites, or if you go to IRCTC website and try to book tickets, it's always frustrating experience, right? So you always like compare. We humans are like no comparing animals, like this is way better than this is way better than this. Okay, so next time when you're supposed to use any application, just try to make sure understand the common patterns between like this application and the next application. You will eventually come up with like this layout could be improved with having a button here, or you can display this information somewhere here. Something like that. Okay, it's a basic common sense all about. Like if you can explore this industry, it's very rewardful. Like it takes time, it's not like 1 day process, like it's not like a week process. You have to spend a month, 2 months, 3 months. Once you complete this 90-day circle, you will know the reality of this industry. That's more than enough. So then you have to decide, is it like working for you and you are really excited to get into this industry? If you are really interested, then you can, otherwise you can just shift your focus on other industry. So this is what I did. So I just tried it, and it was really rewardful experience, because I used to do design and I used to develop this application. I can see the product in my hand, and it was a rewardful experience. Okay, so I designed this product. Okay, so that's the thing. So yeah, I think it makes sense.
Thank you. I think both of you gave some fantastic responses. If you look back at the history of product and marketing, you would realize that earlier products would compete saying, I have this special feature which my competition does not, right? So it was very feature led. But then they came to a scenario where all products and services were pretty much similar. And therefore, the differentiating factor was the design. Let me give you a simple everyday example. You walk into a departmental store and you just want to buy Marie biscuit, and now there are 3 or 4 different brands making Marie. Maybe you're loyal to one, but if you're not, your decision might be swayed by the way the package design made, motivate you to go for one product versus another. And now it has become one layer deeper. It's not just about a product or a service, it's about the experience. So mature brands are focusing on designing fantastic consumer experiences. And UX design, for example, is a discipline within that domain. It's in that experiential design domain. How customers interact with the product or service is really important. If you're curious, if you are creative, if you enjoy being around, people who think in a really different way, then maybe you are cut out for the creative industry. And there are a lot of disciplines to choose from. All right. Now, this one is a question I'm going to ask both of you. I'm hoping you can draw on your work experience, but also your life experiences. What can students do to succeed as a creative professional?
Yeah, excellent question. So, one is the quest for learning. That is the most important one in my opinion. Quest for learning. So when we interact with students, professionals, that's the one thing, or even HR professionals across industries. This is one thing they look for, is your attitude towards learning. So always keep learning. Second is adaptability. adapting to change? Because today everything is changing. So how good are you in adapting to certain change? That may include new learning or unlearning or relearning, whatever it is. So it's all coming back to the learning process. How well can you pivot? So you have this skill, but something else is emerging, or you want to experiment with something. Can you pivot with what you have and try out something different in a slightly, different area of application? So can you pivot to that? And then how quickly can you learn from mistakes and move on? So these are very important skills. So learning, adapting to change, learning from mistakes, moving on, exploring new things. Never be scared to experiment with something. So nothing will happen. So we just have to go down there and a path which probably you have never taken before or others have not taken. So always keep experimenting. These are the core skills, I would say, that will help you succeed in your career. See, learning a tool, working with a platform, all that comes secondary, because they're all tools that will help you achieve something or get something done, that you can always learn. But the core thing is your ability to learn, to change, to adapt is what really will differentiate you and help you get ahead in your career.
I agree with the Kartik's point, like ability to adapt new changes in the industry. Talking from my experience, like students should always focus on learning to consume more. Okay, so this creative industry is all about consuming. Let's say you watch a new movie and you are highly influenced with the dressing sense of the hero or heroine. Okay, so you will eventually go to the malls and you will used to buy those things and used to say dialogues like that. So this is a kind of influence we have. So in creative industry, all you have to do is to consume more. Like you have to consume to create. Okay, so 2 years back there is one interesting metrics, like more than 91 out of 100%, 91% of the people are consumers. Only 9% creators are running the economy. Like it can be a YouTuber or creating products or industry, whatever it is. 91% of the people are consumers. Now, especially in India, it became into like 14%. It's changed. Okay, so like you see a lot of new creators popping out every day, and so this is what I'm trying to say. Don't be a consumer, just try to be a consumer, and once you are done, just take some time and be isolated and do some things, experiment some things and share it online, because you never know what will be will be the next big thing. People will appreciate your work. So the fundamental thing is to document everything. So when I say document, you don't need a website or anything like that. Just share what you do on social media platforms. That is more than enough. If you're students, you want to get a job, just try to do some work and share it on LinkedIn. I said, this is my day 1 progress, day 2 progress, or something like that. People trust people. Okay, people buy from people who they trust. Okay, so basically business is built upon the trust. So all you have to do is just document the journey. This is what happened in my life. The life which I'm living right now here is because of the efforts which I put in my college days. You can even visit my LinkedIn profile. I used to share everything, whatever I'm doing, I used to share. Like it's not about like creating content, it's about like sharing the little pieces. Let's say I just had to change the color of my website. I used to do write a post about it. Okay, so I got all the jobs, especially from LinkedIn. I never reached out for a job to other person. Even though I applied Zoho for 5 times, I got rejected. Okay, so what are all the jobs which I applied, I got rejected. Okay, but the opportunities, it all came from different direction. Once I started posting, people at day 1 they didn't they don't want to support you. Day 2 they won't even notice you. On day 30, lot of similar like-minded people will follow you, subscribe you, and whatever they will support you for your journey because of the trust, and they want to see your journey, like how you started from scratch and stuff. So the context is like you have to document your like process, and you have to consume more in order to create. There is no such thing called like this is new, this is what I made, this is something which I made it as a first time. There is no such thing called new. Everything is a copy of coffee. Add your own flavors, because you are coming from a diverse background. Like you are meeting with a lot of friends, you have different privileges, and you are connecting with a lot of different minds of people. So only thing which you can do is add your own flavors and share your own story to the world. So I'm doing it right now. You can also write your own story. So you can't control the things which is not on your controls, right? So just take it as a feedback and just start sharing your works. That will eventually make more sense for your career. Yeah.
Some really good points here. There's no laid out path or secret formula for success. You have to try. And in the context of trying, it depends. You have people here who have interest in different domains. So actually take some steps, take some baby steps to get familiar with that domain. Actually go out and try and seek an internship. Even if that internship does not pay you money, the experience that you earn is your earning, right? Don't be focused on getting paid internships. Even if you can get a free internship, go for that opportunity. If you want to be a filmmaker, take a camera and start shooting stuff. If you want to be a dancer, start getting people to critique your work as a dancer. It could be with friends and family. Whatever your craft be, actually go out there and practice it. And you will realize that as you move along, you will get better. You will get, you will start performing better. And that's how you can progress and share your updates. We live in a very social world. There are some fantastic networking platforms. Depending upon the craft that you're pursuing, you may choose to focus on Instagram, or you may choose to focus on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great networking platform from a professional context. But just take your steps and move forward. Don't be static. I think it's been a fantastic discussion. Let's firstly give a big round of applause to our panel.